Everyone, it's OutGazer1. How's it going? It's been a while. A lot has happened, not just in here, but in real life. So, last week or so, my computer decided that it no longer wanted to recognize the hard drive as the startup disk. Um, so I've been fighting with it for about a week and a half to fix it. I wound up putting a new drive in, but because of it, I think something got cooked on the hard drive or on the motherboard, because it kept crashing like constantly. I mean, repeatedly crashing. Even when I went to go and run the software updates for the system from Apple, it would crash the installer. It wouldn't recognize the drive. It would say there was something wrong with the drive's format, the drive's file system, even when I would erase the drive and start from scratch. So I've got a new computer, and it's all working great. It's a much better computer. It's better than the old one for sure. I don't have to sit here and wait for chunks to load in the distance. By the time I get there, they're loaded. So this is good. Yeah. So here in this world, you'll notice that there is a big change with the yard. It's very empty right now. All my trees are gone. Uh, and my old base is completely gone. The only thing left over there are my animals and the skeleton farm. So when I took down the last of the base over there, it also took out the system that controlled all of my yard lighting that you see here. Here's one of my redstone lights right here. And so I've been reworking the yard. I've now got a new system built onto my base that is tied into the system that turns on my secondary set of lights. So now, whenever it gets dark, whenever it starts to rain, because it wouldn't do this before when it would rain, all of my yard lights turn on. So I keep everything all nice and lit. See, there's the only spot where there are any mobs. You see there's a slime way back there in those little gap of trees right there to the, well, my right side of my head. But, over my right shoulder right there, you see there's a slime bouncing right there. There's no lights over there yet. So that's the only reason why he's there. Yeah. And so I've been reworking that system. I've been rewiring the whole yard. The whole yard. Now, keep in mind that each one of this grid-like pattern is a border of a chunk. So this is a lot of work that's been going on. There's a lot of lights. There's a lot of redstone. There's a lot of repeaters. That which farm is getting used to its full potential for its harvested items. Another farm getting used is the Golem Farm. This is up and running. This is all good. I've got golems spawning. I've had this thing running solid for about 2 days now, and I've got about 3 full stacks of iron out of it. So I'm getting iron at a pretty decent rate for, considering how close it is to the base, or how far I should say. It's producing golems at a pretty good rate. I had to change a couple little things. I am still using the Carpenter blocks for the roof. I had tried making a nice angled indent above the doors, but that allowed this guy to spawn, and so I had to change it to flat. I let this guy roam around out here. He helps to keep the yard clear of mobs, so he's the yard security. There's still a lot of golems being spawned inside. I may or may not open up the inside of this here for zombie pigmen to make some portals in there to make a gold farm. I'm still debating that. I'm going to do some testing with that and see if I can really viably do that. And yeah. I've got my waterfall going here. I took out the thumper and all of that stuff down there. The gorge is still here. That's going to stay. I've got my nice little park, and it looks so pretty. I'm going to put in a couple little trees here, and it's going to be all nice and good. And yes, I like the way it turned out. It's very clean, it's very simplistic. And let's take a look inside the base at what I've been doing for the last week and a half. So here we are inside the base. Not much has changed in here. Still got the massive number of chests going around. Now this is new here. So these are all of my Pam's HarvestCraft tools. So I've got all of my cooking stuff here. I've got the presser here. I got the chopping block, or the cutting board here. And so I've got all my food in these guys. I'm probably going to end up moving this, though. I know I said this was the only place I could put it, but that was when I had the boiler on this same level. The boiler is now downstairs, and I'm probably going to make a nice little kitchen in this area back here. Maybe I'll put it in this corner instead. I'm still debating if I want to put it in the center or if I want to put it in the corner. Let me know what you guys think. Should I put it in the middle here? Make a nice kind of like a little, open room kind of a deal, just, a couple walls of chests, or should I go for the corner setup and just kind of go with what I have now, but expand it out a little bit more for all the foodstuffs? Let me know what you think. Leave your opinions. Let me know which way you want me to go with that. I've got some BiblioCraft stuff going on here. I've got a nice little record holder here for the jukebox. I've got some tool holders here that are coming in very handy for all of my stuff. It even, as you can see, is holding my electrical age voltmeter, or all meter I should say, and my my Flaxbeard steam power mod, sword and wrench, and that's actually the steam power mod book right there on the BiblioCraft shelf. I have moved the electrical age tools over here. So I've got all my machines right here. I've got a clock. It's actually kind of a nice clock. Better storage, crafting bench. This is nice for making multiple items of one thing, or making multiples of one item. Wow, I really am not good at talking right now. Not much has changed over here. I am using the nether crucibles now, so I don't have to worry about fire. I've got to get that stuff out of there. There's a little tiny bit of extra in there, but not that much. Okay, and downstairs. I know I was talking about moving my sorting system over here, and I have. So this is for the witch farm and for the golem farm. So all the stuff coming from the witch farm that's over in the distance is brought up here by a single minecart for both farms. And the way this works, I'll run down over here. You just saw the minecart go by. So I've got a track running all the way down to the golem farm over there, and there is a switchboard in here, and I'll show you guys that in a second here. I got it set up in my test world. And here is what is underground for the switch track of the minecart that is going between my two farms. So this side here is going to the sorting room. This side here is going to the golem farm. And this side here is going to the witch farm. So what happens is the minecart comes from the sorting room, and you can see this. There's a couple pistons here pushing a block over a redstone torch that then switches the track around. So it comes out, goes to the golem farm. That sets off that detector, that then triggers that block to push, or that piston to push that block over, which then switches the track over to the side that leads to the witch farm. And from there, it just goes in a loop all the way from one farm to the other to the sorting room. And it's just really simple, really basic, nothing too fancy, and it's all automated, and so far it's run perfectly with no issues, no hiccups. It's just basic redstone. And yeah. So that's what's under the ground. That's what you can't see. I'm not going to dig up the ground when I have this to show you how it's all set up. And then it goes down this way on this line, switches over, goes up into the sorting room back here. I leave an access door just in case. I can easily expand this out for more stuff if need be. Just your typical hopper sorting system, nothing too extravagant. And let's run downstairs. So this is the steam line running to the witch farm for the 4 vacuums I got, pulling all of the witches down the long spiraling staircase. This is now where the witches are falling. I had to move this whole thing over. And it actually turned out quite nice. I'm actually rather pleased with this setup. So here's the business end of the witch farm. You know, the witches fall down to a hopper that's up there, gets fed into this chest, into that hopper, and then off into the minecart it goes. Much simpler setup for the redstone on this guy than I was using before, which I'm very happy about. I got some stuff to mine out of here. The room itself hasn't really changed. So, on a side note, I am no longer running the Glens Gases mod. It was a interesting mod. It brought an interesting mechanic into the game. The danger of gas, which is a true real-world danger in mining. However, the mod itself kind of became pointless to me. I was able to very easily get around the gases. The gases just became more annoying than anything. The chlorine gas would corrode iron, and then you had to use the Glens Gases furnace to refine the iron back into normal iron, from corroded iron to normal iron. And it was very difficult to get the piping systems to work. If even a small bit of another type of gas got mixed in with the network, the whole thing would clog up and stop working. And if more mods are made to work with the gases framework and make use of that, I shall reconsider running Glens Gases again. If you're a mod maker, look into the Glens Gases setup. Look into the gases framework. It's a neat mechanic. It's a neat system, and I fully believe it should be further expanded. And yeah, it's a good mod. It's well done, but it's too small and self-serving to be of any significant benefit. Okay, so in case you're wondering, this is just extra storage for dirt and some stone. I'm actually going through all of this to fill in the holes that are left by me reworking the wiring out there. Whenever a creeper explodes, that sort of stuff. So I have a lot of dirt, and I'm going through it all. I'm using it all up. A lot of it was used in the construction of the Golem Farm to fill in the voids. So it's being a pack rat does pay off sometimes. Now over here we have the replaced steam boiler, the flash boiler here, and this little guy here is the Electrical Age add-on. Now I showed this briefly in the last video. And again, I got to thank Peanut Butter 29 on the forum for all his help coming up with this command line for getting this to work. So the way this works is A is this on-off button that's right here. So it's an on-off switch. So A is the on-off switch. B is the input from this redstone converter coming off the comparator. So what it does, if it receives a signal that is below 13 of 15, that's what the 0.867 is, that's 13 of 15, it will check for that signal every 16.5 seconds. If it's below that number, it will output a signal to this guy right back here, this redstone torch back here. That's part of the Electrical Age integration with vanilla stuff, and it will activate the 2 droppers that are below those pieces of sandstone, and then feed more charcoal into the furnace and keep the system at damn near full pressure. I mean, look at that. It doesn't go below that. It stays there the whole time. It's awesome. I can actually run this system from 0 and it will fill up and run all the way up to its full pressure on its own. It's nice. I still have all my emergency systems on here. And yeah, so I mean, just in case anything happens with the electrical age stuff, there's always a backup. You never trust fail-safes to a single system. You always have backups. You always have backups. Downstairs, I now have the whole electrical age furnace system. Now, I am having to run 4 furnaces to keep these lights on all night long. So there's a total of 8 of these heat turbines running, providing the power that charge these batteries, keep the system running at night, and also keep all these lights on throughout the night, throughout the day. I needed to fill this in. This was a leftover from a reworking of the steam system here. So I've got all these batteries, and some of them I still need to make some protection circuits for, so that they don't get overcharged and explode, because they like to do that. And yeah, this is the wireless transmitter system for sending power to the lights. So there's 2 of them here, and this one runs all the lights that are on all the time. This one runs the lights that only turn on at night or when it's raining. And there is a weather station on the roof, and that's what this guy is picking up a signal from. Now the signal can only go about 1 chunk or so before. It's actually supposed to be 32, but I think an update changed it to less than that. Either way, I've got one set up every couple floors to repeat the signal. And this is also the system that I was talking about that my yard lights are tied onto. Now, as you can see, I have not dug down into the ground here. Since I have got that big staircase over there for the witch farm, I'm just going to use that for mining. I'm going to leave the floor down here untouched. I'm going to add in more equipment and add in some other mod stuff down here. Real quick, here is my Pam's HarvestCraft crops. They're all growing quite nicely. And I still don't have everything. I'm probably going to end up splitting this up into a few different categories. I haven't done anything with this floor upstairs yet, so it's probably going to be a prime candidate for a second floor of Pam's HarvestCraft stuff, which will be nice. Alright, and so here we are on the roof of my base, and this is the weather station that I've been talking about. So this is a sun light sensor, and then on the other side here I have a weather sensor. This is the wireless transmitter that transmits the signal down to the rest of the system downstairs. There's actually a couple of repeaters that repeat the signal because it's a little too far for it to go all the way from this one antenna to the next one down at the basement. This is a wind sensor. It's not actually hooked up to the system. I made it a while ago. It doesn't really do much for me sitting in the box, so this being a weather station, that being a weather component, I just stuck it on here for looks. Yes. I gotta give a big thank you to ChickenShed on the forum. He's the one that came up with this formula here, and I actually tweaked the numbers a little tiny bit to work a little better. His formula that's up on the forum is actually going to let the lights run a little too long into the day past sunrise and turn on a little too early. So I had to tweak it a little tiny bit to get it to be where I wanted it to be. So this is the portion here for sunlight. This is the portion here for the weather. And so any of you that are running the electrical age mod, I'll leave this up here for a second just so that you can write this down and put it on your system. So once the light gets down to a certain level, once it starts to rain, all those yard lights will turn on. And as you can see, there is quite a lot of them. These are tied into this system, and so yeah, it comes in handy. As you can see, there's not really a whole lot of mobs that are spawning down there. It's bright enough. There's one skeleton right there. You can see the golem over there circling. He just went around the corner. There's There is one slime there, another slime there, but that's about it. And yeah, so it works very nicely for turning on the lights that are only needed at nighttime and shutting them off during the day so that the batteries can charge up and keep the whole system going throughout the night. Now these are all my solar panels. These are sun tracking solar panels. This is the solar tracker chip. There's one of these in each of these 64 solar panels. And yeah, that's fun to do. And the way I've got these set up, I got these set up in groups of 8. So there's 8 groups of 8 that are outputting a final voltage of 120 volts. Now, you got to remember that Minecraft is in metric. And so we are about 50 blocks, we're 50 meters above the level of where those batteries are at. And if you do the math, that's a little over 160 feet above those batteries. That's 160 feet of cabling running to those batteries. And I'm also counting the wire running, you know, down the pillar, across the floor, up to the batteries. So that's 163 feet, roughly. It's 163, 164 feet, something like that. And by the time this power would reach downstairs, if I was running this in groups of 4, you know, the 50 volts that those batteries are rated for, the final voltage out of these guys out of this line would be only 34 volts, which would not be enough to charge the system. So right now, the output is at 120 volts because I've got these set up in groups of 8. It runs downstairs through the high voltage cabling to this point, and there is a transformer right here. So because I'm only having 120 volts come in, I've got it basically set up as, you can basically think of this as division. So where you have the power coming in, it's being cut by 2, and then basically in half, to what it's being outputted at. So on the input side of this transformer, we got about 118 volts. The output side is at about 60 volts. And it is more than enough to charge up these batteries. And so they work with all the stone heat furnace system here to keep the whole system running and keep the lights on and run all those electronics that I got upstairs. And I'm going to be adding more stuff, like I said before. And yeah, now another thing you may have noticed this whole episode while me running around in the exosuit, it appears as though the exosuit does not have any armor on it like it has been seen previously in the last videos where I've been running around in the suit. That's actually not the case. Satanic Santa has now taken over control of the mod. Flaxbeard has stepped down from running the mod. He's got other things that he's got to work on. You know, life once again gets in the way of things. Satanic Santa and a few others have stepped in to start dealing with the mod. And in an attempt to fix one issue, another issue popped up that is not rendering the additions to the exosuit. As of a couple hours before me recording this video, a member of the team supposedly has come up with a fix. They have not made a public release of the update yet, but hopefully it'll be out soon, and we'll have some new goodies to play with. Beyond that, there's not really a whole lot of updates with the mod. They've added in the rocket launcher that was being developed, and hopefully we'll get to blow some stuff up pretty soon with that. I have an expedition planned. I've actually got a couple expeditions planned that'll show up in the next video. Since I'm not running Glens Gases anymore, I am running Twilight Forest. So I'm going to rework my portal room. It's going to end up being several portal rooms now, and I'm going to rework it so that there's one room for the Nether portal, there's one room for the Twilight Forest portal, and it's going to be nice and pretty and clean, and it's going to be awesome. So, as you can see in my inventory here with the exosuit, you can see it's showing the brass plates, which it actually does have on there. And I will go over to the engineering table here and show you that and it in fact does have the brass plates. It also has black color ink on it, and the goggles are still there. But when I put it on, it's showing nothing. This is an issue with the last update. As I said, they've supposedly fixed this. They haven't made the fix public yet. They're still testing. They're working on a lot of compatibility with a lot of other mods. Santa and his team are working round the clock on the setup, and there's about 3 or 4 new people working on the mod, and so hopefully soon we will have a new update on this, and I'll be able to make a video for it. Those of you who have been watching my FSP videos, thank you for that. And I'm running out of time for this video. I'm actually running longer than I want to. I'm trying to keep these videos between 15 to 17 minutes long. This is running considerably longer. It's partially due to the fact that I am a week behind due to issues with my computer. So, those of you guys who watch the videos, thank you. Hit the like button. Let me know what you like about the videos. Let me know what you don't like the videos. Let me know what you'd like to see improved on. Just any feedback, constructive, would be very appreciative. And this has been Outcast01, and I will see you guys next time.